Get those brooms out, 6-0. Let's get after it again today. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Craig Bennett, a.k.a. Cash Keg, back with another NFL PrizePicks video. We went 6-0 yesterday, completely sweeping our PrizePicks and Underdog video, easily clearing Justice Hill over 7.5 reception yards, Rashee Rice 7.5 targets, and then Butker got there for us with 2 field goals. Easy sweep in the PrizePicks video, and then over at Underdog, that Kelsey under touchdown. Again, Butker over 1.5 field goals made, and then Humphrey under 3.5 tackles and assists. Let's just keep this thing going. Headed down to Brazil today on Friday. We got Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. 49 total. Got the Eagles favored by 2 here. Should be a good game. A lot of offense, a lot of different parts, especially in that backfield. We'll talk about that today. If you don't have that PrizePicks account, you want to join along, use that promo code CashKeg and get yourself $50 for just signing up and playing $5. That easy. Let's get after it. Let's talk some plays. All right, PrizePicks desktop is up here. Again, we're going to dive into these plays. We're going to talk about 3, give you analysis. Play them, fade them, do what you want with them. But we're heading down to Brazil. Like I said, the backfields look completely different here for both of these teams, right? We got Josh Jacobs moving over from the Raiders, headed to Green Bay Packers, with Aaron Jones getting shipped off to the Vikings. And he's really got it to himself here as well. A.J. Dillon is on the injured reserve with a neck stinger, so he's out. So we should see a big workload out of both these guys. Of course, Saquon Barkley coming over from the Giants. Yeah, a lot of moving parts here. Close total. Close spread, high total. Should be a lot of offense here, so a lot of overs, which people like to play anyways. If you want to go check out our tools that we have over at over at dailyedgesports.com, I got the PrizePicks projection EV tool up right now where I have it sorted by today's game. And not only does it give you your plus EV lines, which a lot of places give you, they don't give you custom projections to go with it. And we got a formula over here, DES hit percentage, that kind of will sort the best plays that are out there. So it's something that I use each and every morning when I'm pulling plays like this. That's where I got the plays yesterday where we swept. Again, you can get access to this with your Elite membership, and you can also get a free month of Elite if you are a first-time depositor over at PrizePicks or the plethora of other sites that we have to offer. So let's dive in and let's talk about these 3 plays. First one we're going to talk about here, I said we got some new backfields here. We're going to have both of these backs in play here. Josh Jacobs, again, going up against Philly here. I think there's quite a few different ways you can go here. I think you could go fantasy score. I think you could look at receptions, over 2.5 receptions. I think you could look at reception yards. I think those are my favorite where I'm leaning right now. Again, in a game where you have a spread this close and should have 2 workhorse backs here. This line has moved quite a bit, considering the line was at 15.5 or 14.5 would have opened. And that's Josh Jacobs and that 17.5 reception yards. And did it just, oh, there it is. And so, yeah, 17.5 reception yards. I'm going to go more than this. This is where I'm going to lean. I feel a little bit safer with this than I do the receptions. If we look at Philly overall, they're bottom 3 in receiving yards allowed. But to the running back, they're 18th, giving up around 33 yards a game last year to the backfield. Josh Jacobs wasn't called upon a ton to catch balls over there with the Raiders, but I think it'll be a little bit different. We saw what Aaron Jones could do out of this backfield last year, and now Josh Jacobs with similar skill set should be able to get there. So we get 4 or 5 targets out of him. I think he can easily clear this line at 17.5 reception yards. That is going to be play number 1. Number 2, again, we're going to go by these other side of the game over at Philly, and we're going to talk about Saquon Barkley. Now, I don't know why, getting traded to your division rival isn't the best thing in the world, but they paid him big bucks, and he's going to have a big workload here. Now, it does stink a little bit that Kelsey has retired for this offensive line. However, one thing I do love about Philly this year is what they've done on the offensive side, right? They've brought in Kellen Moore, and that offense was a lot of fun to see, in Dallas. It was a lot of fun, when he's with the Chargers, and we should see a fun offense here. And then having a weapon like Saquon Barkley is only going to help things. So one of the plays that I like was Saquon. Again, I like the 2.5 receptions if you want to go that mark. I like the rushing yards at 64.5. I'm perfectly fine there. If you want to take his reception or his rush and reception yards, 86.5. That's another one I like. Receiving yards at 15.5 feels too low as well. Again, he could definitely catch the ball out of the backfield. But I think where I'm going to be at, especially with the PrizePicks full point per reception here, I'm going to be at 13.5 fantasy score with him. I think that's where I'm going to be landing with Saquon Barkley. I feel that's kind of safe. Now, you can't really go and pull up any of these guys' game logs and look at them because they were on different teams. Now, he did play. Last year against Green Bay in the Detroit. When he was with the Giants, and he did put up 24.1 fantasy score against them with a way worse offense than the Eagles here. So 13.5 feels low. If he catches 3 balls, get you 30, 40 yards, that's setting you up at around 7 fantasy score there. And that's not nothing on the ground. He gets another 60 on the ground. You're at 13. If he gets in the touchdown this game, it's over. So 13.5 feels pretty low to me. And it's a spot where I'll take advantage of it early in the game where the lines aren't going to be there. I think this later in the year, you're probably going to see closer to 18.5 to 20 fantasy score line at him, and 13.5 just feels awfully low. But again, if you don't feel comfortable with that, I definitely like his receiving yards at 15.5. I think they're just going to get him the ball in space and see what he can do. So that's where I'm kind of liking those two plays. And then the third one, we're going to go back over to the Green Bay side, and Luke Musgrave, tight end. In a spot like this where nobody's got a home game here. They're going down to Brazil. Close spread. One of the ones I do like is receiving yards at 25.5. We kind of look at this line number. He cleared this in 8 of 13 games last year. If we look at, again, I talked about Philly, being 28th in the NFL and receiving yards allowed at almost 270 a game. And to the tight end position, they give up almost 52 yards a game. And so coming into a second season here, I do kind of like taking advantage of this line, which just feels a little too low here for this. Now they did bring in a new defensive coordinator here, so things could change a little bit. So you kind of have to take those numbers with a grain of salt in terms of how the defense did. But if they're getting to him, he's going to be a safety blanket, and I think the volume is going to be enough there where he gets that 25.5 receiving yards for Luke Musgrave. If you want to go receptions or targets, I'm okay with that, but I do think the receiving yards feels a little too low because if he's going to catch 3 balls, he should catch more than 25.5 receiving yards. He had some really good games last year, 51, 64, 52, 49, 50. So if they get him involved, should be okay. Around 12% target share last year. But again, I think that's going to change here in year 2. So that's what we're looking at for these 3 plays. Again, if I had to rank these, I'd probably do it just like this. I think Barkley and Jacobs could be 1A, 1B kind of type situation. Musgrave would be the third that I have. One of my favorite plays, though, we're going to talk about in the Underdog video. Just the line is a little bit better over there. And like I've always said, make sure you have access to all of these DFS sites and line shop. That is just as important as picking the plays that you can get access to. So get after it. Again, if you want to have access to all the tools over at dailyedgesports.com, head on over and sign up for that elite membership to get the tools, picks, everything we have. Full sweep yesterday. Let's get after it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel on the way out. Like always, see you on the flip side. Deuces.